happy Labor Day for the teachers. You have been unable to secure a contract for this going into the second year.
That's correct, and we're going to be making our feelings known about it. Labor Day is a good time to do that. We feel it's really a disgrace. It's unconscionable. We're going into a second year without a contract. It's great uncertainty. We feel it's terribly disrespectful to the teachers, and it's really not good for kids because it creates even lower morale than we already have in a very troubled school system.
Why the hang-up?
Well, the mayor and the city continue to say that there isn't any money, except that we continue to see them spending money on other things. And we believe that whatever the financial situation, and we know that we're in a tough economy, a contract could always be consummated if there's goodwill, and we just don't see that happening.
Well, that'll be demonstrated today. Show us the back of your T-shirt, and members of the Teachers Union will be wearing these. And as you pass the mayoral box here on Fifth Avenue, you'll be turning your backs to the mayor.
Yes, we're very angry and upset at the mayor. We feel that he is not living up to his own commitment to education and to kids, and we're terribly disappointed.
Let me tell you something. The last time a group turned its back on the mayor, it was a group of bigots at the St. Patrick's Day parade, and that was not well received. How do you think this will be received?
Well, we're doing a symbolic act, and I think we're coming from a very, very different place. I mean, we are a progressive union. We're a union that cares about kids. We're trying to get the school system working in a positive way, and we're hoping that it'll be taken in a positive way in that sense.
We're not into the 93 campaign yet, but it's on a lot of people's minds, and there are some hints in the paper, notably from the Teachers Union, that Labor might walk away from Dave Dinkins if the current policies continue.
It could happen. We are going to judge the mayoral candidates based on their records on education issues and other issues that are important to us. And we're not at all committed at this early date as to what's going to happen in the next mayoral election.
Have you been talking with Rudy Giuliani, and is he a viable candidate?
Well, I did have one meeting with him, and you know, we did not talk about his candidacy, but I'm sure that there will be alternatives out there.
How about Andrew Stein?
I don't know if he's going to be the kind of real alternative for us, but I'm sure that there will be alternatives. I'm hoping that we go into the next mayoral election with a contract behind us and able to make that decision based on a mayor having a real commitment to education. But so far, we don't see it.
On entirely another matter, what's wrong with teaching abstinence along with the other means of trying to prevent the spread of AIDS?
Absolutely nothing. I think abstinence has to be taught. Abstinence is required to be taught and stressed in the curriculum. I think that the people who are trying to give the impression that that's not so are dead wrong. I think they're exaggerating the kinds of things that they say about what's in the curriculum are just not so. There's no question that AIDS is a plague, that kids have to be taught how to protect themselves. They have to understand this is an infectious disease. We're not talking about teaching kids about sex. We're talking about teaching them about a disease from which to protect themselves. And abstinence is the only sure way, and that is what will be stressed in the curriculum. But there also has to be a room for teachers to make decisions and to have judgments and to exercise academic freedom in terms of how much stress to put on, in terms of time, how much time to put on one aspect of the curriculum as opposed to another. And that's just common sense educationally. And I think that the people who are saying that what's happening here is trying to teach kids about all different kinds of sex are just wrong. They're exaggerating what's happening there.
All right. You have a good, happy Labor Day.
Thank you very much.
Sandra Feldman, president of the United Federation of Teachers.
Under skies as dismal as the reports that almost daily chart their economic decline, New York's workers marched up Fifth Avenue. They know the Commerce Department just reported disposable income failed to grow since George Bush has been president. They know the Census Bureau said median household income has fallen 5% under Bush. And they know the Labor Department found that factory employment is now the lowest it has been in 9 years. No wonder the mood on Fifth Avenue was somber.
So it's a frightening prospect that the next generation will not have as good as their parents, and I think that's the problem.
The economy is disgraceful, disgraceful. Labor union, a lot of these officials have gotten soft.
No Labor Day parade would be complete without a report from the political front, and this one comes from the city's teachers, who are angry at City Hall. School opens Wednesday. The teachers have no contract, so they turned out in large numbers, maybe 2,500 strong, all wearing black. They shouted and turned their backs on the reviewing stand. If you can't accomplish what you're hoping to at the bargaining table, what do you think this is going to accomplish?
Well, this is just part of a campaign which is going to go on until we have a contract or worse.
They represent their membership, and I represent almost 8 million people.
The mayor neither saw nor heard the teachers' protest. He had left for another parade in Brooklyn. Predictably, this one also brought out the front-runners in the Democratic Senate race, Geraldine Ferraro, who leads the polls, and Bob Abrams, who's trying to overtake her.
New York loves an underdog. Just ask Governor Koch or Governor Samuels.
Bob Abrams says he's gaining on you, and New York loves an underdog.
That's terrific.
Reading the political mood of labor this day is easy. They want a change in the White House. What isn't as clear is, if they get it, will economic conditions improve? Tony Guida, News 4, New York.
And in New York City, contracts for nearly all unionized city workers expired nearly a year ago.
Both presidential candidates are spending this Labor Day talking jobs and the economy in Midwest battleground states. The latest NBC News poll has Bill...
It did not rain on today's parade. In fact, the sun broke through for a few minutes, but there's no metaphor there. Never have so many workers had so much to be concerned about on a day off devoted to the celebration of the labor movement. On Fifth Avenue, Tim Minton, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
And despite the apparent drop in spectators viewing the parade, police say 200,000 people marched in it, almost double the number projected by
Mayor and union members who blame him for their contract troubles. But come rain or come shine, Brooklyn's feud.
Politics. Our political correspondent Pat Dawson has more, and the mayor's response to the charges.
What do we want? Contract! When do we want it? Now!
In a break with the image of Labor Day solidarity, the city's unions and the mayor, who's been their loyal ally for years, had a well-choreographed public squabble on Fifth Avenue, a political fight carefully staged for a variety of constituencies. As political melodrama goes, it was a near-flawless performance.
It's a question of whether there's political will and whether there's a willingness to prioritize and support the education system.
Which is a complicated way of saying the UFT president wants more money for her members. We're getting impatient. Then follows the scene where the mayor plays statesman.
Of course, she's going to demonstrate, as will Stanley and others, and I understand that, but they represent their membership, and I represent almost 8 million people.
All going according to the script until the last act, when thousands of marching teachers were to turn their backs on the mayor to show displeasure with the pace of bargaining. Unfortunately, Dinkins, improvising like any good actor in a jam, had left the reviewing stand an hour before. The only thing missing from today's fight between the labor mayor and his union allies was passion. Having played a major role in electing David Dinkins, none of the union leaders seem to have any real enthusiasm for a destructive confrontation.
I look forward to marching with you on Labor Day 1993 and 94 and 95 and 96.
And in next year's prospective mayoral field, the unions don't have many alternatives. Rudy Giuliani has often suggested the mayor should be tougher with labor, and Andy Stein actually criticized Dinkins for being too generous in the teacher's last contract. How easy or difficult would it be for labor to move away from him next year?
It's not going to be easy.